Good afternoon, everybody. I'm back. It's Saturday, my friends, and we can jump right back on in to some coding here as we've been doing, as we were doing last night, and just kind of get back into swing of things a little bit. Give me 1 second here to kind of fix up my windows a little bit. That's here. Okay. All right, that looks a little bit better. Anyway, welcome on in, everybody. Welcome. I hope everyone is doing well. We're all healthy, happy, and all of those things. Kick about taking names. Having a good weekend. Maybe relaxing a little bit. That's always a good thing, I would say. Anyway, so last night I decided that if we're going to continue forward trying to learn this using this online book that I've been using, I'm going to have to get back in line, at least somewhat, with how the book is doing things. Because for those of you unaware, excuse me, a couple weeks ago, I noticed that there had been updates to the book itself, and not only the way it does things, but also the code, backing it and all that stuff. And they made some pretty fundamental differences, pretty fundamental changes between what was there when I was following the book beforehand and what is there now. And so we're like several chapters into a design that no longer is reflected in the way that the book is explaining it. So what I'm going to try to do is I am following the main pathway. I don't know why, as soon as I start streaming, I start yawning. I've been fine all day, and then I just start streaming, and all of a sudden, it's all yawns here. What I'm going to try to do is follow the execution path of the code, and as we come across things that are different, try to reconcile with what's currently in the book's code path. This will help accomplish two things. One, it will hopefully bring me back in line with how the book is designed around things, and two, maybe this will also give me an opportunity to kind of look over the whole design of the whole engine and see if I can understand it a little bit better, and also maybe make some adjustments along the way that now make more sense. So we'll see. It's going to be, basically I'm refactoring, and it's going to be a process. It's going to be a process. So we've basically stopped our forward progress in order to re-up everything here. Hey Tech, welcome on in. How you doing? Yeah, I just got started. So that's where we're kind of at. I'm trying to bring us back in line with how, since the book changed underneath us as I've been using it, I need to sort of bring us back into line with how the book is designed things to a certain extent, and then we can kind of move forward again from there. With Twitch's new TOS, I heard. I heard. Um, although their TOS wasn't. I mean, their TOS hasn't been good for a long time. It's. I mean, at this point, it's a kind of a giant joke anyway, right? Because it only applies to the people that don't need it to apply to them. So it is what it is. Twitch has a larger problem of just throwing so many ads at people now that, you know, at some point the viewership is going to decline anyway, because they're just going to get tired of all the ads and everything. So the big problem there, I think the only thing keeping the viewers on Twitch is that they don't know where else to go. And that's the only thing that's, you know, once they find a place that they can go that doesn't have all that crap, they'll be probably leaving quickly. Put out a new one on the 19th of August, and then took and hide it, and they added a new one. Yeah. It's not streaming, not in the mood at all. Yeah, no, I get that. That's you really do have to be in the right mindset to just like sit down and stream for a bit, you know. And I mean, you stream for far more hours at a time than I ever would. You know, I'm on for like 3 hours. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. You're on for much longer than that. So I can imagine you need to be in the right mindset for it. One day you did 37 hours. Yeah, that's, I mean, when you're in the flow, you're in the flow, right? Yeah, I just, but I mean, I think the longest I've ever gone was maybe 6 hours. And that was about it. And I was just completely beat after that. That's so much fun, but can't get in that mood. Yeah, I hear you. That's always the difficulty. Alright, so... So we're doing init model. Right, okay, so this one here. You're in Spaceborne 2. It was wild. You did so much in one go. Yeah. I mean, for that many hours, yeah, you're going to make a ton of progress, most likely. With all that. Yeah. I mean, I think the last game that really got me into where I was like doing a very long stream, I think was, well, 2 games really. Horizon Zero Dawn years ago, and then more recently, I think No Man's Sky, I think was the one where I went like just over 6 hours on. I think Horizon Zero Dawn I went about that long, or maybe a little bit longer, one Saturday. But yeah, it's you know, once you get a game that just kind of is firing off on all cylinders, you're just like, yep, I'm gonna stick with this. Kept getting more new stuff unlocked. Yeah, that just keeps going on. Yep. Yeah, I mean they all, when they're done right, they have a way of potential to just kind of really suck you in, which is good. This is real good. I mean, it's like having like a good movie that kind of sucks you in, except you actually have agency and you're controlling stuff, and it's much longer. So then they have so they load the model up. They've got a list of the models. They add that to it, and then you got this cube entity here. They create, okay, so what do they have here? So they have the cube entity in defined in there, huh? Let's see, and I've got the create test entity. Which adds it to the scene. Okay. Right. So I have that. And then they're loading up they're loading all the materials, which I already I don't have a separate step for that, although I probably should have one at some point. Oh, see, they're loading it from JSON file, which I don't understand their purpose of doing this. Like, they pull stuff out of the main file into a JSON file, and then, I mean, I kind of understand it where they're like caching the model file by converting it to a JSON file, but it's like, what are you actually saving by doing that? That's got all the material data, which I think I have built into everything else, right? One thing I don't have is the create test model. So create test model is doing the mesh, and that's returning the new Vulkan model. Okay, and so I was doing loading the model file up. I was loading the ship up, which is kind of what I would want to do rather than the cube here. So I think what I want to do is, yeah, I think I want to comment this out so I don't keep looking at it. Oh, wait. Go. All right, and this will be. Model. Alright, I can get rid of those two things as well because they don't need to be there now. Because we're doing it as like an init. However, I do need to pass the scene into here instead of using the other thing. So we'll do that. There we go. Because we're going to call init model here, and then that will that'll set up the scene, which then gets passed to the model. Or I guess technically I could have just used the scene from the thing. But I'll do it this way. Init model, and then that'll get passed to the renderer. I think that's how they have it. Yeah, return init data, and then this gets called from here, and then yeah, so init data is just their wrapper around the scene in the window. So they're passing that into render. Then render init is running with that. So where is this at? This is in the render class. Okay. All right, so we have to look at I guess I'll look at it in line like this. So we gotta let's look at render init right now. And make sure this is all about the same. The waiting for fences and stuff. So we're at init, so auto class render. Vulkan render, so I'll leave the other things here for the moment. We'll jump back to this once we get there. So Vulkan renderer. There's a lot of stuff in it. It's past a window and a scene. So over on their side. So engine context has both a window and a scene in it. They create a VK context. Which again I'm not going to do because this is about as useless can go. Yeah, so because this just muddies the waters. I don't like how that muddies the waters. I get that it's like, oh, we put all these things together so that we can call cleanup on them, but it's that I don't like that they pass this entire thing around constantly. Right? And it's just because what you have to do is you have to then look in here to see, oh, is it, what part of this is being used? Oh, let's see, how much, oh, using the physical device. Right? And then that's it. It's like, well, then just pass the goddamn physical device, don't pass the whole freaking thing in there. You know, it's like clarity. Let's write some code that is clear in what it's doing. You know, that's all I'm asking. So in here, they're doing, so basically they're doing all the startup on this, right? So getting instance on the engine config. A new instance of, what the hell is this? Oh, this is a Vulkan instance? Okay. Oh, this is setting up all the layers and debug callback stuff. Okay. So they're setting up a Vulkan instance, Vulkan render instance, which is what I have here. Alright, and I've got all the validation layers and stuff. They had a hell of a lot more than I do in here, though. Message severity, bit mask. Green Vulkan instance. Okay, so in here I've got app name and stuff. This is where I'm creating application info. Okay, so we can change this over to default, which is really nice shorthand. I'm doing API version 1.4. Okay, got the app name, app version, engine version in here. They do anything else? Application name, application version, p-engine name, engine version, API version. Okay. 4, 5. 4, 5. Okay, so we have that. And then they do validation layers, which we'll get to in a second. Okay, so with that, as I have this other constants thing, Vulkan engine configuration. I want to bring those in from that, I think. Yeah, probably. Maybe. Might as well for now. So I want this. So if I'm going to do that, then I need to. How do I want to do this? I mean, I'd have to pass this in, right? Or I can do what they did and have a static get instance on it, which would be a little bit nicer because then I don't have to pass it everywhere I need it. I can just have it. Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's do, because I don't. The only downfall to having a static instance of this is if we wanted to change stuff in here while the game is running, which isn't really that big a deal because I can still put setters on this. Like I'm not going to have, I don't predict that I would have multiple instances of the engine configuration. It's just going to be one instance and then we would just change it. So I think what we're going to do is private static final private static open engine configuration instance. All right, and then make this private, and we'll go public static open engine configuration get instance, and we'll say if instance is null, turn, or if instance is null, instance equals new engine configuration, and then just return instance. There we go. So that's good. So I just have to change the one thing here to say so then that means I don't need to hold the engine configuration here as a class variable at all. So we can get rid of that entirely. I mean, maybe it doesn't hurt to have it there as a class thing, but yeah, it's not necessary. It's just taking up memory that we don't need to take up. So then I can get rid of that from the init, and then whenever we need it, we can say get instance. There we go. All right, so we're back in here. Okay, cool. So then what I wanted to do was I wanted to add private string application name. Does it take those as strings? The oops, that's that. Where the hell am I at here? Structure utils. It takes them as ints. Okay, app version, engine version. Oops, why do I keep doing that? Okay, and then we can just put some getters on those. Good stuff. All right. And over here, I don't have to, I actually don't have to pass them in then anymore, which is kind of nice. So I can just say app name. What's app short name? Oh, right. Okay. App name. Okay. So I can do engine configuration. That. And then at version. Application version. Engine version. Goes out of there altogether. So that's good. So then we come back over here, and then I don't need to pass these in at all. Bam. Simplification. Okay. What else? So required validation layers. So debug utils get required validation layers. So over here, what do they do? They say our validation layer supports validation. Set required layers. Validation layers. Okay, so far it's all looking the same. They do Mac OS stuff, which I don't bother with because ain't nobody writing games for Mac OS. All right. Number of layers. Support validation layers. I have one there on that. What do they got? Also one. Okay. I'm going to make an assumption, whether this is a correct assumption or not, that this isn't any... See, they call back into the instance to get the supported validation layers. Okay, sure. So yeah. GLFW extensions and portability flag, debug callback. Yeah, I'm going to make a sweeping assumption here that this is, that's not any different than what I have, other than where it actually exists. I got create instance info though. Look at my stuff here. Let's go on here. Oh, duplicated code fragments. Yeah, you're gonna get that. Out of curiosity, I think we're okay. FW, use portability, stuff, supports validation, create debug hooks. All right, then we do create instance. Which can now be that. Instance buff get info. VK. This is returning the VK instance, which we were just looking at, right? Dispatchable handle instance. What the hell? Extends dispatchable handle instance. That comes from LWJGL. That's got me a little concerned. Oh, well, okay. Duh. Okay, VK instance is part of the LWJGL. Okay, so I'm not too worried about that. It brings back a VK instance, which I also do. Okay. Alright, so we're not off in the weeds there. For that, Vulkan debug handle is also there. Okay, so I think we've got all that stuff in place. Cool. And then the cleanup for the render instance. Destroy debug utils. Destroy instance. Yeah, okay, that's all the same. Good. Okay, so we're back to the renderer now. I know that there's some errors here, but alright, so that's the render instance. So I've got that set up. We take the window in a scene that we brought in. We then create a logical device. So where does that happen over here? Here we go. All right. So create physical device, create logical device, create a surface. Logical device. Oh, I already have at this point a physical device. Okay. Why do they have it? Oh, because, okay. Whatever. Create physical device. I've got to get instance. Is that what they're doing? Physical device. What do I have? Yeah, physical devices. Okay, I think I have everything here. Because we had something that was working, so I'm going to assume that that's correct. And the graphics queue. So we got device, surface. Window surface. So we got that. Window surface. Yeah, I think this is all about the same. I think the cues might be a little bit different. Maybe. Let's go back here and look at the diffs. chapter 5 on the left, chapter 8 on the right. Crap, where are we at? We're in Graph VK. Graph VK, and then what is the name of it again? VK CTX. Okay. Okay, so they're in there, they're doing... Okay, so they are firing up their description out. So these are the new things for Chapter 8. Pipeline cache. Descriptor allocator. Okay, so let's make sure we get... let's make sure we get that captured here. So I got the descriptor allocator. Oh wait, this is theirs. So descriptor allocator. This is device. Why does it need both? I don't know. Descriptor allocator. So then in mine here, where does this come in at? I hate this indirection. This comes in at... where's my... was it Control-Alt-G? Control-G? Here we go. This comes in at... render. Okay, so basically the first line of render. First line of render, so yeah, when they're creating like the instance and stuff, I guess. So I'm not sure where exactly in line here. I guess I can just kind of slot it in because pipeline cache and this are both new and they've got them after the swap chain. So I guess I'll put them after my swap chain thing. So pipeline cache and descriptor allocator. So I've got pipeline cache here. Got 3 usages already. Oh, I've got the pipeline cache there. Okay. So I've already put the pipeline cache in here, so then I just need the descriptor allocator. Private, well, so what do I have? Just logical device. Okay, so that's wired in, which means I also need to probably clean it up too, which I don't have for the pipeline cache. Do I? Oh, I do have pipeline cache cleanup. So when do they clean up? They do it before pipeline cache. Okay, so we'll do trip allocator. Clean up on that device, and then we don't clean up the device until we come down there, so that's good. So the device is still active there. Okay. So I've got that. Got load models here, which is not getting called. they've got resize in here, which is just a weird place to put. I mean, they put resize in here because they're calling cleanup on the surface in the swap chain and creating new ones. Okay. So I've got the resize. So I do swap chain cleanup. They're doing surface cleanup. I'm creating a whole new surface again, which I feel like isn't necessary. Maybe it's necessary, but create a new swap chain. I guess I have to clean up the surface. So Vulkan surface. I pass in. Oh no, I create surface. So it's not that bad, I guess. How's the GameDev going? It's not too bad. The online book that I've been using to try to learn how to do Vulkan stuff in Java a couple weeks ago got updated, and they changed like their example code, and they changed the book text and everything else. And so I was already like well into chapter 8, and they fundamentally changed some of like how they've designed it and stuff in many ways. Not like completely changed it, but changed it enough. So I'm kind of in the process now of walking back through the code and then trying to figure out where my code diverges from theirs and trying to get back into line with how they're doing it, because they're using a completely different technique now for rendering to the screen. So I'm going through line by line and trying to piece it together as to where all the changes and differences are. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm in refactoring, forced refactoring hell right now. But it's also giving me an opportunity to kind of look back at everything I've got and see if it still makes sense, or if I can figure out a different way that I want things to be, so that I can make more sense out of it. That kind of thing. I've been coding in Java for Minecraft server related stuff with some errors. Anyhow, just let me know. I don't know this Vulkan stuff though. These lines don't look familiar. Yeah, this is yeah. I appreciate the help. But yeah, this is all brand spanking new engine stuff to me, all together. So I'm trying to figure it out as I go here. Using this online book and things. So hopefully I can, the main thing is I don't know what I don't know yet. And that's really what's making it such a slow process right now. I'm still waiting for that light bulb moment where everything just starts to make sense and then I can really take a look at everything. Swap chain cleanup. So they do. What do they clean up first? They clean up the surface first. No, they clean up the swap chain first, then the surface, and then they create a new surface and a new swap chain because the surface gets passed into that. Okay. I had to make a plugin for Minecraft server that's basically a chatty AI. Yeah. Interacts with players in chat and has a function where you can ask it to tell a random short story. Oh, okay. Cool. Sounds interesting. It's a nice way to keep people engaged on a multiplayer server, you know. Not let the chat go too quiet. So that's cool. I was watching a video the other day of somebody. One of the projects for Minecraft that increases the rendering distance, so you can see, you know, very, very distant chunks, more so than, you know, beyond the 32 limit that Minecraft kind of gives you. And it was interesting seeing some of they basically did a video where like debunking misconceptions about why Minecraft is coded the way it is and all that stuff. So it's kind of interesting. Friends Discord has a bot in there. I had to remake that in Minecraft for a server. Discord bot has a point system and pets mini games. Ah, I see. Yeah, so you're gonna do like the Discord integration and all that stuff. Wait, are you using you're gonna do a Discord plugin? Are you gonna write that, or are you gonna write something that uses a webhook for it? Major features: your pet needs to be fed daily with a command. Hearts go away every day. Ah, I see. Every day you don't feed it. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Again, that's like gives you kind of a crossover interaction and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, even just having like, even be able to just like chat in a Discord channel and have that show up in Minecraft, even that's, and vice versa, is even a really interesting thing. Complicated to implement into a Minecraft plugin, but you're working on it. Yeah, I mean, I would imagine it would be. I think the thing that probably complicates stuff the most is they still don't have a proper API for people to use. So you're constantly, every time there's a new version of Minecraft, you're having to like reverse engineer the obfuscation and all that stuff. Even harder if there's a physical pet entity. Yeah, I was wondering what you're going to do with that. You're going to just make it chat only, or you're going to like integrate it with the pets that are already in Minecraft, like the dog and cat and all that stuff. Got the code for an AI bot plugin someone else made, using it as an example for the chatty AI bot part. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you just gotta be careful with the GitHub stuff. That's all. make sure make sure it's got a permissive license. I mean, most of them do, and you're not presumably not making any money off of it, so you're probably okay. So what do we have? So I'm a little bit leery about doing the surface cleanup because I feel like I would have already taken care of that. But let's do it anyway. We do Anthony's physical device. Yeah, there's also pet plugins that add animal pets, but to program them die. They have no hearts. As long as the other part is oddly difficult. Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, yeah. Because you have to link it into because you have to. Every entity in Minecraft has an entity ID, but I don't know if that's a. It's not a. It's not necessarily a static ID that I'm aware of. Like if the server reboots or something, like I think all those entities get a different ID potentially. So yeah, you'd have to sort of try and synchronize the IDs together, which is going to be a real pain probably. Yeah. Not sure if you can even hook the two plugins together. I might need to include the pets in the same plugin. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that's. I think probably your biggest problem will be synchronizing the two. If you're going to have a visual representation of a pet there, because like I said, I think the IDs of the pets in Minecraft are not fixed. Like they'll change like when the server reboots and all that stuff. So it's, you may have to like, you probably have to find a way to keep track of that or something. Or just have it where, like, the pet disappears when the player logs out, and then reappears when they log in, and then you know what ID it is at all times. Then you can control what ID it is, basically. Right, exactly. Yeah, random generate IDs, yeah. Yeah. So I unless you can give the pet some kind of metadata, which I don't know. The last time I even looked at any kind of Minecraft thing, I thought that the save files in Minecraft were JSON, but I don't remember offhand. So I don't know if there's a way that you can tag an entity with like your own ID and say like this entity always has this like metadata tag like a, just generate like a UUID or something and tag it with that, and then that would never change, presumably, even if the internal ID changed. So yeah, I don't know, because I imagine, yeah, I mean, there's other plugins that introduce, like, a lot of plugins introduce new blocks and stuff. And so they're like a block ID and things. So I guess in some ways, if you treated the pet like a block, you could give it an ID that you would always know. But then trying to get it to act like a regular pet in game would be interesting, to say the least. So yeah, I don't know. That'll be an interesting challenge to take a look at. See if you can tag them or something. If there was nicknames that could be identified as, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's really what you need. You need something that wouldn't necessarily change. Now, I guess, so the one thing you could do there, they do have, Minecraft does still have the tags and stuff, like that you can craft the pet tags, I think, to rename your pets and stuff. So if you could generate a pet with a tag that has a name, presumably that name won't change. I mean, I guess the players could change the name if they wanted to, but presumably it wouldn't change, and then that would be your link, I guess. Yeah, your name tag, right. So you could probably do it that way if you yourself generate the pet in game. Just make sure it generates with a name tag, and then that could be your key, to be able to link them together. Of course, that the only difficulty there is the users wouldn't be able to, the players wouldn't be able to necessarily name it unless they name it with the plugin, right? Pretty sure name tags make IDs static too, because you can name things like armor stands in Minecraft, and name tags are weird. Yeah, I don't know if they make the IDs static, or if they just have like a parent link to them. Because the name tag itself is I believe, an item. So it might be more that it's like when you attach it to something, it gets like a parent reference back, and that parent reference is whatever it's attached to, and so it kind of sticks with that parent wherever it goes. So then that would be, sort of the permanent ID, as it were, for that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how they made that work. So I have instance, physical device, window. So what do I do for surface here? Device, get physical device, and window, get handle. it's not going to let me do because that is final, right? So I got to make that not final anymore. All right. Well, it seems like that's what they need you to do, so that's what I will do. Whenever we resize the window. So then the render, what do I do there? They don't really have a render in here, do they? No, it's in the other one. I think I've got that all together. Okay. So then in render, they've got current frame, graphics queue, presentation queue. Okay. Command pools, command buffers. I've got a command pool. So where are they buffering with command buffer? Played Windcraft and a server called PokeFind. I'm not sure about Windcraft, but I know PokeFind programmed their own plugin to do everything. I mean everything, because it's vanilla Pixelmon, so a single plugin adds the Pokemon Pokeball items and everything else. Yeah, I would imagine. So that's probably all. They probably did that all server side then, for the most part. Or at least, we say it's Pixelmon, so Pixelmon also was a client overhaul too, I think. So yeah, that's, yeah, I mean, it comes down to how much you want to take on, right? Because the other problem is every time Minecraft updates, you're basically blown back out of the water again. And the smaller your plugin is, the more likely that you don't have to do that much to every time there's an update to Minecraft. But you know, fun MMORPG server with medieval themes, kind of like RuneScape. They may have used other people's plugins or things. A heavy load. Yeah. I thought, I don't know if... I briefly took a look at some Minecraft plugin that was like trying to add RuneScape to Minecraft. I don't remember the name of it. Maybe that was Windcraft or something, but that was an interesting, like a lot of people have tried to add in RPG elements on the Minecraft, and I feel like that's not very far away from, you know, what people would really want, you know, like there's a lot, you know, it kind of lends itself to that kind of gameplay in many ways. Having one plugin on your server though means less RAM usage. It's actually better if your server has like 100 plugins. You need 64 gigs or more of RAM usually. Yeah, it does. The memory stuff does blow out of proportion pretty quickly on that kind of thing. And I guess really Java in general, I think if there's one very valid complaint, is that Java does kind of take a lot of liberties with memory. You can definitely make things that don't use up tons and tons of memory, but you have to kind of really jump through a bunch of hoops to do it, because it does kind of treat memory like it's a cheap commodity in a lot of respects. A lot of that too is I feel like I've kind of said this before. I feel like Minecraft was definitely sort of a I think written as like a game jam game, you know, where it was like just rapidly prototype something and get it working. And that's great and all, but I feel like ever since, I feel like it got popular so quickly that they never really had the proper time they needed to go back and pull some of the jankiness out of it and make it a production worthy engine. Because a lot of times when you're rapidly prototyping something, you're not necessarily doing it the best way. You're just doing it you're doing it the quickest way. But, you know, having said that, it's lasted for a very, very long time. And it's still very popular. And the vanilla experience is still very stable. I mean, the only time you really start to run into problems is when you start bringing in a whole bunch of plugins and stuff. So, which is, you know, they've been told for years and years now that Mojang needs to provide a good plugin API. And they still refuse to bother with it. So it's like you're kind of fighting an uphill battle there with trying to make sure you don't push it too far that it becomes unstable, but at the same time, you know, you're kind of stuck with design decisions that are less than optimal for what you're trying to do. A massive map they've been building for like 13 years still expanding. Yeah. Rushed to release basic mining simulator. Didn't really seem to care much of it, but yeah. Yeah, I know it's been under Microsoft ownership for much longer. I do find it interesting though that you've got Minecraft, what is it, Bedrock Edition, which was like a rewrite of it, sort of, in C, and yet that has never been as up to date as the Java edition. You know, some of that's just because of the console limitations too, but yeah. Rules with Mojang for servers are a bit too much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where a lot of those initial rules came from. I don't know if that was a Mojang thing or if that was a Microsoft thing. Like, from the Mojang perspective, I understood that they were just getting flooded with support tickets for servers that they don't have any control over. because there was not, servers were just putting up all this stuff, and they were putting, gambling mechanics and stuff in the game, and not really, to like a parent or someone that doesn't understand what the hell they're looking at, they would naturally go straight to the developers who showed up on the title screen and be angry about it, and not realizing that they had literally nothing to do with it. Make money off of servers, which, well, yeah, exactly. And honestly, that made perfect sense to me, because they sort of needed to rein in some of the craziness that was going on, because they were getting raked over the coals for it. Microsoft, on the other hand, gets raked over the coals daily anyway. So it made sense that they would be like a little more hands off with it, and be like, yeah, whatever, people are going to be angry. We don't care at this point. Though I imagine that there's some kind of clause somewhere that says like, hey, if you start really going crazy with it, we're going to clamp down on it, Monetization is too much now, especially on Bedrock. Everything costs coins now. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is one to find a lucrative side gig and jump on it too, But, and running a server is not cheap, and so I understand the need to monetize some things, or at least the need to charge, or like ask for donations, or even potentially charge subscriptions or something like that. But there has to be a clear notice to everyone that, this is a custom server that is not under the purview of Microsoft or whatever. Don't go complaining to Microsoft, because you'll just get a whole lot of nothing out of that. It's a rough one. Like, I don't particularly like. It's a game that has a wide adult appeal, certainly, but it also has a wide child appeal, and it gets really murky when you start having like loot boxes and stuff and coins and all that crap, when depending on the average age of your population in game, it can get really really icky really fast. The only time I spent money on Minecraft is the Hypixel server. Permanent VIP rank on that. Yeah, RIP Hypixel. Fortnite, well, yeah. Like I said, it's always a bit of an icky space. I point, I know it's not just a Minecraft thing. I point fingers at Fortnite too, but it is what it is right now. Yeah, I was really looking forward to. I had been following I know they still have their servers, but I had been following the Hypixel game for a while, and then they kind of went radio silent for a while, and then I think they finally announced that it's debunked. It's defunct right now. So Minecraft, you can run a literal casino server. They have casino plugins and stuff. Yeah, it's... Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't fill me with joy and happiness. I'll tell you that much. That's I mean, if there's a way someone's going to push it too far, and then eventually they'll get slapped down for it, but by the time that happens, they'll have made a boatload of money off of it, and they won't care, you know. And that's the unfortunate part of the whole thing. So what are they doing with the command buffer? Texture cache, miles cache, materials cache. Are they actually... So they're actually, instead of generating commands every time, they're going to buffer them now, which makes perfect sense. I don't know why they didn't do it before. Command buffer, begin info. Color formats. Did I combine this? Begin recording and recording. I feel like I combined this with the pool. This command pool. Command buffer. What? So I got the pool here. I do have a buff. Command buffer. Okay, so where do I... Buffer inheritance. Alright, where do I instantiate this? Oh, okay. So I have this in the forward renderer, which is what they used to call it. And now they're doing both the pool and the buffers at the same time, which actually makes more sense. Command buffer, I think it makes more sense. Command buffers. Okay, so this is back to when they were doing image views, they were doing a command buffer for each one. I don't know. Doing the same thing here. What are they doing here? Command pool. Max in flight. Render complete semaphores. God, there's a lot of stuff that they've changed here. Render complete semaphores for each. Clean up. Start recording, stop, resize, submit. So where are they? So we're creating a scene render here. And what does this do? Does this not use command buffers at all? Most visible buffer. Depth attachments, pipeline, shader modules, load materials. Okay. This is loading the materials cache. Render. VK command begin rendering. Pipeline. Set viewport. So this is the actual render loop then. Scene end rendering. Resize. Push constant. Alright, so this gives the scene the ability to render itself. Essentially. So that's why they moved all the fragment shaders, all this stuff. So this is, I mean, that's basically the forward renderer that I have now. It's just basically renamed to the scene render. And some things are moved around, and then we've got this stuff going on. Swap chain images. Okay. So, command pools, command buffers. Buffers. Command buffer, command pool. So why do they have multiple command pools? So now we got like multiple command pools going too. With max in flight set to 2. So you have 2 command pools, 2 command buffers. All that stuff. Alright, so because this is logical device. Pool info. Knock along size 1. I mean, I basically have the same thing. We have a reset to reset the command pool, which I don't have. So what does that do? VK reset command pool. Okay, so it calls some other thing here, so I guess I should do that. I need the VK device. is logical device. Is just a so just pass the logical device in. I can call get VK device on that. Alright, so command pool, right? So we're invoking command pool. So public, what do they do? Void reset. VK reset command pool. And then VK command pool and then 0. So ID 0. Okay. Everything else is relatively the same. Okay, pool info. Create reset command buffer bit. VK command. Pool create reset command buffer. Okay. Create command pool. Okay. So I have all that. I have all that stuff then. Which is good to see. Okay, from there. So this is now a list of command pools. Okay. And then after that we want, we want a list of open command buffers. Okay. So where they create their command pool. They're just doing whatever the max in flight is set to. How is this calculated? This is not calculated, right? It's just yeah, it looks like it's only read and not written, right? Yeah, right axis is the red thing, so okay. So it's only red, so it's just a constant that they're using. So I guess I'll just, I mean, I might as well just put that in the other thing here. Just keep all this stuff together. Engine configuration. Private int. What is it? Command buffer, fence, semaphore. Fences. Okay. Max in flight. Let's do that. Cool. Okay. Let's see what else. So with that, come over here, and we need a method. Let's say is private init say init buffers, I guess. Buffers, fences, and force. Alright, so we'll say bu- 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 number of swap chain images. Get swap chain, get number of images. Do I have the swap chain? Alright, let's do number swap chain images. For an I less than right. And so all I gotta do is say command pool Q family index. So I need so wait a second. Oh yeah, okay, so command pools. New command, welcome command pool. Q family index and false. So device, so we need logical device. I'm gonna pass that in. What else do I need? Q family index. Which which they're getting from the graphics queue. Family index, and then command buffers. I need pull the, okay, let's do this a little bit differently here. Add the pool, and then this is, what is this? Pool primary one-time submit. Okay, so pool, true and true. Okay. And then fences and semaphores. We're doing those here now. Okay. Instead of in the forward renderer, so we'll see how this goes with that. Alright. Fences and semaphores. So we're saying new fence. Device, and then true. New semaphore. Okay. And then need another loop for number swap chain images to set up semaphores for the render complete semaphore. Okay, that's to let you know when the render is, that's to alert you when the rendering is completed. Okay. So we'll do so I can get rid of this. And so private list. So these semaphores here. Image acquired. Semaphores. So I should probably rename that. Was it Control R to rename? Control Shift R? What is the rename thing? Alt Shift R, of course. And then we have semaphores here, which are the rendering complete. Alright, and then so for int I0, I is less than swap chain images I plus plus. Rendering complete semaphores. Nice. Go. Alright, and then we've got, so we've got resize in here. Now. So we moved that out of the one thing that was in, and now it's in here. Okay, so how do it pull in? Resize. Render, okay. So, is this after the... This is after the... Yeah, after the allocator. After those cues. And... probably after the swap chain. Yeah, after the swap chain. Got to get the images there. And after the scripter allocator too, I would say. So, okay, so let's do init, buffers and semaphores. Oops. Device. Graphics queue. What is it? Swap chain images, where did that come from? Oh, swap chain, get number of images. Whoops. Swap chain, get number of images. Okay. And after that, we've got resize is false, which I've already set it to false. And then we do the scene render, and then we got models cache, texture cache, materials cache. Has a lot of stuff in it. Do I have a, did I make a Vulkan model cache? That's a good question. I might have skipped it because I was like, I only have one model, why do I need to cache anything? But I feel like that's coming into play here. So models cache. Yeah, I skipped it. So now they've put all kinds of crap in here now. Mercy buffers. Load models. Oh, this is... I hate this. This is them loading up the model data that they generated into, that they transformed from the model file to a JSON file for some god-awful reason. You know, transfer buffers and stuff. Yeah, I'm not. Screw that. Screw that noise. That's a whole lot of work for no benefit. Now texture cache makes sense. Materials cache again does not make any sense. So I don't need that. So I assume I did these in the forward render, the cache here. Command buffers. So I did get image views for each and then did that there. So I did have a list of command buffers. They all went into the same pool, which is, yeah. They all went to the same pool. Now they got multiple pools for some reason. Frame buffers. Attachments. Yes, I was doing this stuff. Which I now don't need to do. I think this whole forward render, a lot of this is going to go away probably. That being said, we have the render comes first. We should at least tackle this. I'm going to rename my forward render to, I guess, scene render. Okay, pipeline. Okay, render info. Create shader modules. Image barrier. Freight pipeline. Yeah, this whole thing is. I mean, this is basically brand new. It doesn't bear any resemblance to what I had, so I guess we'll just make this brand new. I mean, there's a few things that bear a resemblance, like depth attachments stuff, but I don't know. I guess no. Okay, create frame buffers, create depth images. I guess it does have a lot of resemblance. Okay, so let's rename this. Okay. A whole lot of stuff we don't need in here now, though. All right. I'm gonna take a short bio break, and I'll be right back. Hang tight, friends. Okay, back, and we got a bot to take care of here. So give me one moment. We'll take care of this. Go. All right. Let's see. We have go on here. Oh, I don't know. I need my brain to work again, and it's I haven't even been going that long either. It's only like just over 2 hours. Let me just kind of see what I got going on here. Damn. Yeah, there's a lot more to do. My problem right now is my brain has decided to stop working and my head is starting to hurt. Like I know what I basically have to compare this scene render to what I've got and start changing things around a little bit. Which isn't, I mean, it looks like it'll be straightforward is not the word I want to use, but it looks like it'll be like I can do it. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop right now. It's unfortunate. I wanted to get more done, but it's my motivation is waning at the moment. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I wish. See, my problem is I do some of my best work at nighttime, and it is getting to be nighttime, but I started early. I don't know. It's. I think the thing that I'm running into the most right now is that I'm getting easily frustrated because I still don't quite. I'm easily frustrated right now because I feel like I've put a lot of effort in, and I have nothing to show for it, and that's always a difficult thing to get through. It's something that I run into even at work a lot of times when I'm working on a project that's going to take a while, a month or so. You get a couple weeks into it and you're just like, you just want the thing to be done, right? Because you feel like you've put so much effort into it, but you have absolutely nothing to show for it. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here. I put a lot of effort into this, but I have nothing to show for it. And it gets very frustrating. And I know times when I do it for work, it's a lot of times I have to just get up and walk around, and I have to, what I do is I end up like working in shifts. Like I have like a 45-minute timer, and I'll work for 45 minutes and then take like a 15-minute break, and then work 45 minutes and take a 15-minute break kind of thing. Um, the breaks being the thing that kind of helps you sort of get through it. And I kind of, yeah, I think I think right now my problem is that there's a lot, like I need to get to a point where things are kind of working again so that I can make more incremental progress. But to get there is going to take quite a bit more effort, and it's good. I feel like for the next couple of streams, the next couple of coding streams, it's going to be like I can only do like 2 hours and then stop, because it's hard to stay motivated when you don't have anything to show for it, right? And that's kind of what I'm feeling here a bit. Yeah. I'm going to, I know it's been a short stream, but I'm going to stop here. I appreciate everyone hanging out. I am going to do the second stream tonight. But it'll be probably a couple hours from now. Probably around maybe 8:30 my time, which would be about 2 hours from now. I'll start up, and I think what I'm going to do is I was going to try to play like a different game or something. I think I'm going to just fire up No Man's Sky and just do that tonight. And then we'll also do that tomorrow as well. Just because I just kind of need to... a palate cleanser. I guess. More than anything else. So... yeah, I think we'll do that. I think I'll jump back into No Man's Sky in about 2 hours. And we'll just play that for a little while. And then we'll go and do that some more tomorrow as well. And then we'll come back to coding. I'd like to say between now and Friday I'd have time to look more at this code, but the reality of the situation is I probably won't. So I guess really it comes down to when I come back on Friday, we'll pick up where I left off here, and see if I can continue to transform this over to what it needs to be for what we're doing. And yeah, we're just gonna have to keep taking it like a small piece at a time, I would say. What was that telling me? Oh, exception GitHub Copilot. I don't care. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I would like to. Part of me wants to have a few more coding days where we go through this, but it's right now it's really difficult. With the state of this project, it's very difficult because it's like I kind of dread it a little bit because I know that there's a lot still to do as far as getting to a point where I can see what's happening on screen. I can see things on screen because we're still very much in the like initial framework initial foundation stuff, and I think that's where it's just a big hurdle right now. You know, it gets to be things get to be more fun when you can actually make smaller changes and then see things happen. And I think that's the difficulty right now. Is I just need to get to that point, but in order to get to that point, I need to take time to do it, and I am not motivated to put that time in because it's such a bear. Um, so yeah, I think Friday night we'll come back and pick up some more here. I think, and then next Saturday, hopefully we'll pick up from there too, and maybe you know, maybe those two sessions will be exactly what we need to sort of get back to a state where things are looking better. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, my friends, that'll do it for me for right now. Like I said, I'll be back in about 2 hours with some gaming stuff. Probably No Man's Sky, doing the old expeditions, and yeah, we'll take it from there. If you happen to run across this on the YouTubes and you have a like and or a subscribe that you can spare and maybe toss my way, that'd be really great and awesome. It helps out tremendously, and I appreciate it greatly. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I hope everyone has an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what it is for you. And I hope to see you back here again in the future for some more stuff, whatever happens to suit your fancy. Until then, see you bye.
Space!